These are the speaker tapes of Fifth Dimension Young People's Group Alcoholics Anonymous, a virtual group meeting every night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Reagan. I'm an alcoholic. You guys can hear me? Okay. I'm actually like really nervous right now. Like my heart is beating for some reason, but thank you so much for having me. Congratulations to everybody who is on their day counts. I honestly like teared up a little bit just seeing like all the chat like blow up with like 9 days, 2 days. Like it's just a beautiful thing. And I just know how terrible it is those first few weeks or months. Um, I got sober at 20. I'm 22 now. My sobriety date is May 25th, 2021. So I will have 2 years tomorrow, which is kind of crazy because I never thought I would be able to do this or be speaking or like trying to help others, right? So um, I guess like I'll start with my experience, strength, and hope and lead up to how I became part of MSCYPAA, if that's okay. I just want to say, like, growing up, I always felt like different, like no one liked me, everybody hated me. I was bullied a little bit. And I kind of just let my own freak flag fly. And like no one really liked that. So I didn't really like I had some friends and then they kind of abandoned me. And then, I made friends with like older kids when I got into like middle school and high school that, drank and partied and used other substances, right? So I kind of felt at home with them because they were also misfits. So I kind of just found home in them. My home life was a little bit chaotic as well. My dad's an alcoholic, and my mom was very depressed, and I would have to take care of her. So I put school in the back burner, and I was trying to take care of them, and then I kind of just lost my mind and completely just gave myself over to alcohol and other substances, right? So since I was probably 13 or 14 years old, that's all I really did. I didn't care about my future or education or anything like that. I just, wanted to stay for the party, and just do more and more and more and never leave. And you know how that goes. It is a progressive disease. So I kept doing more and more things, drinking and other things, right? And I was in group homes, I was in, behavioral facilities, and I ended up at Cushing House, which is in South Boston. I'm actually from the Boston area in Massachusetts, and I ended up there, and that introduced me to other things besides alcohol and whatever I was doing at the time. So I got introduced to other people, and I I know I shouldn't like bring up drugs or anything, but that is a part of my story. But let's just say I replaced alcohol with other things and I ended up homeless in Fenway in Boston. And while I was doing those substances, I also found that relationships were also an addiction for me. Trying to save people, trying to focus on them instead of myself, right? And that like having that codependency. So that kind of tore me down a lot, so um whatever, right? So from 18, I was homeless at 18 years old, on and off until I was 20. Luckily, when I was 20, I had gotten section 35. And if you don't know what that is when you are taken into custody and made to um get sober, essentially. I also had a warrant for my arrest anyway, so I had been released from another Section 35 a month before in April of 2021. And then exactly a month later, I'd gotten arrested again. And this time I was like in jail. And they were going to release me the day after I got arrested. But for some reason, I just stayed in jail for 30 days, which I'm like so grateful for because I got to stay in there and just kind of sit with myself. I was hallucinating. I was very sick. I couldn't read, like my brain was kind of just very slow and mushy. And that was really scary, but I also was like, whatever, I'm going to die here. Like, I don't care, And then I'm talking to my dad on Securus and he's just like, hey, like I can get you out of there if you go to a sober house. And by this time, my dad got sober when I was 18, excuse me. And so he's like, as soon as he got sober, I started getting worse and worse. So he's just been trying to help me and help me and help me, right? So as soon as he said that, for some reason, I had, I guess, this willingness and kind of desperation that I didn't have any other times. And I said, fine, I don't care. I'll go anywhere. And I went to that sober house, and my whole first year of sobriety, I didn't do anything for my recovery. I didn't go to meetings. I really didn't do anything. I worked, and that is kind of what saved me. Like, I don't want to say like a job will save you, but um, I was miserable, and I hated my life, and I hated everything around me. I didn't have any friends. I resented everybody around me, and everything was just darkness around me, right? Because I had previously been in the program back in 2020, and I got all the way to step 6 and had, relapsed. So I blamed everybody in the program because they weren't doing this right, they weren't doing that right, but in reality it was me, right? So I just figured AA wasn't for me, the program wasn't for me, so I kind of just like gave up on that. But then I was just kind of sitting in my own funk. Um, and so that was like my whole first year, and it was awful, terrible. And then I went to MSCYPAA. I actually went to ICYPAA in New Orleans. My dad brought me, and I connected with some people there. I reconnected with people from my past, and that was like a beautiful thing. And then I come back up to Massachusetts, and in last October, I believe, we had MSCYPAA, and there's this hugs workshop. Okay, if you don't know what a hugs workshop is, I don't even know how to describe it. I went in there blind. I thought I was just gonna hug a couple people. No, like childhood trauma just started pouring out of me. Like I would just hug these strangers and I just started crying. And like, yeah, it was sad and it was dark, but it also just healed like a huge part of me. My best friend is standing like right next to me. They're crying like so much. Like we're just all crying together. And it was just like a beautiful thing, right? And it made me feel that feeling of home again. I want to say like I'm welcome here and I'm allowed to be here and I'm safe here, which I hadn't felt in a long time. Um, and by the end of that convention, I was like, okay, I want to be a part of this. Like, I want to do this. I want to make other people feel the way I'm feeling right now. So now I'm the outreach chair for MSCYPAA. Um, it has given me purpose for everything, honestly, because I never really had purpose before. I was kind of just floating around. Um, so now I'm the outreach chair, and I just go to like a bunch of random young people meetings, and I outreach for MSCYPAA. I'm trying to put a bid in for Boston so that we could have the next MSCYPAA in the Boston area. This year it will be in Marlborough, August 18th to the 20th. There's also a camping trip, June 30th to July 2nd. If you want any of that information, I'll be happy to give it to you and give you my phone number. But yeah, like I don't know where I would be now. I think I was on my way out last October just because, I was so miserable and so sad, right? So I'm just like so grateful to be here. I didn't have a sponsor or anything. I didn't talk to anybody my first year. Now I have a sponsor. I have friends that love me, which I thought I was unlovable. I thought no one wanted to be around me. I thought I couldn't help anybody. I thought that nobody wanted to hear me speak, or, like I just felt like I was just so disgusting. And like for me to look back on that, that was kind of selfish of me because there are so many people I could have actually helped. And I just wasn't in the right mind to. But like, it's all a learning experience. Like all that I learned from, and I never have to do any of that again. And I also never have to feel like that again. Now there's steps I can do to prevent feeling like that. Um, I am on the end of my step 4. Um, excuse me. It's my second time doing the steps. I have a new sponsor though. She is unfortunately in Puerto Rico, so I'm doing it long distance with her, which is rough, but it's worth it. Like once you connect with somebody, like I don't know, there's nothing that can like really stop you, if that makes sense. But ever since I even started the step work, like I feel so much better. I just thought the steps weren't for me. I thought I was so unique that nothing works for me. And I was just like so wrong. It's just so funny. Like I would be in meetings and hear people be like, oh, I didn't do the steps. I didn't go to meetings and I was so miserable and this and that. And I'd be sitting there like, oh, I'm not miserable. Like I'm fine. Like I'm different. But like in reality, I was in a very dark space. So it's just like day and night. Even if I was sober, like it was still terrible, right? But I'm just like so grateful to be asked to speak and to be of service. Excuse me. And to be able to talk like coherently and, send the message. I'm kind of like running out of things to say. But yeah, I don't know. Like for YPAW, it has just absolutely changed me. And for the newcomers in here, I 1,000% recommend trying to go to a YPAA convention or any events, to get involved and meet other young people. I know it can be hard to be, super young in the program, and feel kind of out of place because there may be an age gap, like depending on the meetings you go to. So I would just try to like go on as many Facebook pages as you can. I can add you if you want. I can give you all the information you need. But I know, like when I was younger, even trying to get sober, I've been trying to get sober since I was probably 16. And I've been in and out of meetings since I was like 13 or not 4, excuse me, 14, I think 14 or 15. So it's just good to get involved as much as possible, because when I was just isolating and like not doing anything, I just hated everything, but I have a career now. Like I'm a dog groomer. And it's amazing. Like I want to open my own business, and it doesn't seem like it's in the cards like super soon, but I know that honestly it's probably possible if I keep doing the right thing. I love my job and I love my life. Of course, things aren't perfect. Like my room is a mess and my car is a mess, but that's okay. Like I'm aware of it and I'm gonna clean them at some point. I don't know why I just admitted that. I'm so sorry. I'm just like doing my best, and it just like dumbfounds me that there's people that will like reach out to me if they haven't seen me and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because like honestly, that's my love language. Like when people reach out to me first, like it hits home for me. I don't know. I just always feel I've always had that like anxiety and that insecurity that like no one cares, but they do. Um, so yeah, I don't know really what else to say. I hope that was okay. Thank you so much for having me, and I'd be happy to give you guys my phone number if you want it. Thank you.